Right, let's review this then. I've had it for anyone who's been on the channel long enough will know I've owned this for quite a while now. It's the same one that I bought 5 years ago. Am I right? 5 years? Well, maybe 4.5. About 4.5 years ago. It was the end of 2020. And now we're mid-26, so yeah, I've had it for 4.5 years. It was ran previously at my home when I first bought it, and then that's it for 4.5 years. Then it was brought out for a couple of wash races with a 7000 series, and then put away again, and then brought out today. Or shall I say, last couple of days, it's been brought out again. So it's had very little usage. In fact, it's had very little usage sort of overall. This was returned under warranty by its first owner. Ended up at a sort of a charity in Bolton. Bit of a weird one, really. Weird charity. It does help the youths to basically repair washers and dryers. And subsequently they make money from it. It's a for-profit charity, but the prices that they were selling these machines for, they weren't exactly expensive, and they were always the more upper range of machines. So sure enough, this came up. This is a £1,200 washing machine when it was brand new, and I bought it refurbished with 6 months warranty on it, for £200. Yeah. And it was a bit of a funny story, really, for me to go and get this machine, because what happened was I saw it, messaged the seller saying, I'll come down now and come and get it. And midway down, he said, oh, don't come now, it's... He said, yes, fine, you can come down. Oh, don't come now, it's... you're going to have to leave it. It's tripped electric. We think it's the heater. Well, I can come down and I can come and wait. Anyway, so obviously I still been driving down, and I got there. And they literally went around, tried looking for a heater. This is naturally a 2000 watt heater, and they managed to get a... It's a 1950 watt heater. They managed to find a 1900 watt heater from another Electrolux and stick it in. And then it worked, and it heated, and it did we put it on the 40 cycle, on super quick, whatever, and it quickly went through it. It got to the end of the main wash, drained, and kind of spun, and then I just went, right, it's fine, I'll take it. It says, as long as you're happy. I said, yeah, I'm happy. Right. I'll take it. So, paying the money, got it back home, stuck it on, and then it wouldn't heat at all. I've just seen it heating. I knew it heated myself, and now it's not heating at all. More likely this was returned because of a slight build-up, and this is typical AEG Electrolux. They build up static inside the board, and because the relays are so fragile, they can stick open and close. Effectively, when it blew the first heater under them, they got it, ran it, thought it was fine, then it blew the heater because the relay for it had stuck open, so it drained the water out at the end and timed out. It sent the message to close the heater relay, but it never did. So it then blew and overheated the heater and blew it. When we stuck the next heater in, it did trigger fine and switched off. When I got it back, the relay switch had actually jammed closed. So I opened it up. I messaged them saying it did this and said, look, but I'm going to do this and see if it works. And sure enough, it's worked and worked ever since. Just simply undoing the board from all its connections, leaving it for half an hour, and then stick it all back together. fixed quite a lot of issues with AEG Electroluxes. It really is that whole simple, I've tried to turn it off and on again. Just a bit more complex than that, that's all. So, yeah, that's the story anyway. And it did run then for about 30 or 40 cycles under my use. And heated on every single one. Still does today. Hasn't tripped out. Hasn't blown a heater. Works fine. Just an FYI though, the only little gripe I have with this is that it doesn't always heat to temperature properly. I've just done a 60 cycle and it probably reached only around 45. That is with a small load though, so it might have just been that. And I do know officially they only heat around 55 on 60-degree settings. And actually that's a modern thing as well, that's just normal nowadays. Even Miele don't hit 60 on their 60-degree cycles. Oh, and officially Eco 60 on this. Yes, it gets its stupidly A+++ plus energy rating, which it did back in 2019. But it heats to a max temperature of 28. Yeah. No joke. But more of that in a minute. Right, so what do you get for £1,200? Well, you get a touchscreen display, which is very rare because this is a AEG 9000 series, right? But they actually did two. They did this with this touchscreen, and they did one with the normal LEDs around the side and a list of programs, which is the same as like the 8000, 7000 series. In fact, even today, there's no touchscreen equivalent of the new 9000 series. So, it is rare. Very rare. I've never seen another one for sale since they've been discontinued. I don't know anybody else that has one, apart from me, and that's it. Right. So you get a touchscreen display for £1,200. For £1,000, you can have one with the LEDs around the side. You get what's called a soft water technology, which, as fancy as it sounds, is not that complicated. It's effectively a dishwasher, the salt treatment that they have in there. It's exactly the same, only even more simple than a dishwasher version. It also has a jet system, as you would expect. With AEG. Now that was a standard back then. It isn't now. So yeah, all AEGs as standard back in 2019, 2020. They had the jet system. Zanussi did not. John Lewis, I think, had a mix of both higher models with jet systems and lower models without jet systems. Today, because Zanussi has now been dropped, the lower AEG models no longer have a jet system. In fact, I don't think you get jet systems until you get to the 7000 series now. The 6000 series used to have them, but now they don't. You also get this brushed aluminium front plate. That is brushed aluminium. Rather cool. Touchscreen, soft water, jet system. You've got a weight detection system inside. I don't mean like where it loads the water up and detects the load. It does that, but it also has a real-time weight reading of when you're putting laundry in. It also gets wool hand wash safe rating. It's also recommended by Ariel and Lenore. So there's a P&G collaboration there by AEG. That's nothing new. Brands have always done that. Sometimes it's just more hidden away inside the instruction manual. And generally speaking, it'll be either Unilever, Blue Sun. I think Blue Sun actually. Unilever, Blue Sun, or P&G. Usually one of them. Right. So to open the door, handles here. Just pull it open. The only problem with these door handles is if you notice the design here, as if you were to hit it quite hard, it will snap it off completely. I've seen it happen. Right, this door if you notice, there's no screws and there's no screw covers either. Now normally with that you would end up with a sort of like a Beko or a Bosch, where the outs around here will normally slide open and then it will reveal it. No. If you break this door, it's £104 to replace it. Right, we've got our 9kg drum, Protex drum. Quote me down below, but I'm sure this is something like a 74-litre drum. It is enormous. It's much bigger than the Bosch that I've got next to it. In fact, it's that big. I have put king size duvets in. I did it in the Lindo, which had the same drum, and it just swallowed it as if it was nothing. It was brilliant. Nice big door seal. Just be careful. You need to keep this clean around here. So I see it all the time where I'll get hold of AEG, this new season, stuff like that. And around this bottom area here, it's going to be all clear. And around the upper half, it is just pure black. It will hide a lot of the gunk. In fact, even now mine's clean, but look, there's fluff there. Fluff hidden away up here. So it does show. Now mine's clean because I don't use any pods or liquid in it, so it has remained to be pretty clear. Right, so there's our serial number and our model code and production number as well. Like I said, 2200 watt. I think it's 2000 watt for the heater. They couldn't find one, so they put a 1950 in. Close enough. I just said stick it in, it would be close enough. I think that's the there 819. Yeah, 8th month. 19th year. Something like that. Or was it 81.9, which is 81st day of the 9th year. I think it's like that. Again, correct me down below if you know your serial numbers. I know it's 2019 made. Right, at the bottom we got our a bit flimsy, but it will come open. Got emergency door release here if there's a power cut. And we've got our coin filter here with a unique spout. I actually like that because, of course, if you notice there, we've got this sort of lip here. So if this wasn't here, all the water would kind of form and kind of go inside the machine. And that's what happens with a lot of new machines that I've got. And it doesn't matter what brand you pretty much get. Samsung, LG, cheap Beko, Logic, whatever, they will always end up sort of going inside here. With this spout, that shouldn't happen. However, and I have just noticed this, there's no emergency drain hose. Bit of an unusual one. Now it could be because this filter might be the wrong one. So, like I said, it's got this little spout. But older AEGs, they had a spout sort of built inside the filter itself here. Alright, so you'd flick it down and it would drain it out. And that was your emergency drain hose. I'm just wondering whether this is the wrong one. Probably isn't, but it's just a little bit bizarre that it doesn't have an emergency drain hose on a machine this expensive. Also, yep, this is all design. It's quite nice actually, and the whole curvature, the whole design of the AEG, this includes the Nusi as well, is curves. So the whole, it curves here, the whole front curves, and even the side, from top to bottom, also curves slightly. It's quite nice. Right, turn her on, press on off. There you go. So it will bring up the last cycle that was run, and it will, honestly, it will store the last cycle even when it's been switched off for 12 months. So, right. We can press that, which then takes it back. You can also turn the dial as well, which will take it back as well. Look, 0. So this is bringing it into our options menu. Right, press back. Right, turn the dial. There we go. So let's now reset the to the next program. So we've got cartons. It says an hour at 23. That is for 0.0 kilos. I'll show you in a minute the weight thing. So we're going to go through all the programs first, and then I'll show you the weight, how it affects the time. When I open the door, it will bring this up, and it will say, it says there max 9 kilo. It will tell you once you've gone over a certain amount that you have overloaded it. We've also got detergent advice. Now you set that up. That isn't quite right. You've got type 1 and type 2, so you could set one up for, let's say, powder and one for liquid, which is what I got here. You could also set it up, say you've got a powder detergent for your whites and a colour detergent, you know, and stuff like that. Or you could set one up for sensitive detergent and one that is biological detergent. Up to you, but it gives you those two types set up. You can set up just one if you want. But that's all hidden away in the settings. And then it'll say ready to start. So then you can just press start and away, you know, that cycle's ready to go. Now turn the dial, it brings it back to the menu again. Right, the screen's got quite a lot going on as well. You've got your sound. So it automatically goes to the settings. And then you can change the end buzzer, as well as the little clip as well. Anyway, there's far more settings here. But effectively, that is just a shortcut. Same with this as well. This is child lock. Won't let me lock it because we're not in cycle. Yeah, if you're not in cycle, you can't actually lock it out as such. Right. So we've got cartons lit here. You've got a temperature shortcut here. 60, 95, whatever, 40, 30. Also, you can use the dial to go across like that. Again, the time changes depending on what temperature is set. You've also got spin speed here as a shortcut. Max spin speed is 1600 on this machine. The final spin length actually changes depending on how big the load size is. Whether you got it on eco or not, and whether you've got it on super quick or not. So if you got super quick, it will automatically default to like a 7-minute spin or 6-minute spin. If you've got a small load, you'll do a 7-minute spin. If you've got a full load, it would do around a 15-minute spin. And if you've got an eco setting, it will do, I think, around 20-minute spin. So yeah. So there you go. There's all your options for your spin speed. So I'll just go quickly through them. We've got 1600, 1400, 12,000, 8, 600, 400. And you've got extra silent, which will cut out all the intermediate spins and go to a default rinse hold. Then you got rinse hold, which will keep the intermediate spins in and then just end with a rinse hold. So yeah. So extra silent is effectively no spin and rinse hold. Whereas rinse hold is just rinse hold. Right. Like I said, we've also got temperature. You've got cold, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and 95. Look, the time's changed there. Look, again. So, why are we down to an hour? Oh, I know why. Because we're rinse hold. Let's get that back up to 1600. And we've got more, which is actually all your additional options. But it will always kind of default to temperature and spin speed, sort of here. There you go. You just use it as a touchpad. As you like your phone, you scroll up and down. You've got child lock, which, like I said, it's just defaulted back the menu back because you can't select it. Oh. It is. That's quite annoying. It doesn't necessarily tell you that it's on. Bit of a weird one. Right, more. So we've got child lock. We've got delay start. And this is start. But unlike any other delay, you know, we can have up to, come on. This dial isn't as reactive as, say, like a Samsung or an LG. We can have 24 hours. Bear in mind if we say it's that. But we've also got minutes lock. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 minute sections like that. So, effectively, you can have a whatever you want. You could have a let's say, mathematically, you've got a 2 hours and 40 minute cycle and you want to finish in 10 hours. Mathematically, you could set it for 7 hours and 20 minutes and it finishes exactly in 10 hours time, if you wanted to. Right. We've got time save. So, we've got normal, quick, which is more like a daily. Look, if you see here as well, it says mid. So, quick's like daily wash. It shortens the wash stage, but the rinses and the spins are pretty much the same. Then I've got extra quick. So, time save max. So, extra quick, what it will do, it will heat to temperature, wash for a time period, and it will drain, do rinses without any intermediate spins, or sometimes with intermediate spins, and then a very short final spin. It also does short rinses as well, so extra quick does change everything. Now it says 57 minutes with a small load on 40. I can guarantee you it'll do it in about 40 minutes. That time is really, really out on extra quick. Although, strangely, if you put more in, then it's usually a little bit too short once you've got full load in, because it's relying on waiting for the temperature to come up first. Yeah, they haven't quite calculated that right, but I'll let them off. Right, then we've got Eco. So if you select Eco, you can set Eco with anything as well. It effectively defaults it to Continental Standard 40 and Continental Standard 50 and 60. But you can have Eco with 95 as well. You can have Eco with 30 if you want as well. Doesn't really matter. Oh, it's actually turned it off. I just realised that. So, Eco can have it on 95. down to 30. Eco is not available, yeah, with cold and 20. Yeah. Right, then we've got stains. Again, stains is off because it's set to 30. So with stains, and physically stains, you have to set it to a minimum of 40. Right now, cast stains. You've got soak. So soak is effectively pre-wash. Watch. We can't have pre-wash and soak. We can only have one or the other. So pre-wash will heat to 30. Do a short wash, drain, spin, and then do its main wash. Soak does the pre-wash and then will sit for around 30-40 minutes or something like that, doing obviously short tumbles with a bit more water than normal to soak everything in 30-degree water. If I have a look right as well, because it's at 30, if I select 20, alright, in saying that the stains are then... I can still soak and pre-wash even on cold, on 20. Right, keep it at 40. Right, then we've got extra rinse. So again, depending on load size, it will do anywhere between 2 and I think up to 5 rinses, depending on how big your load size is. So, and again, depending on what cycle you select, having Eco, say like on standard, will automatically just do 2 rinses regardless of the load size. So if you want more rinses, you add them on. You can have 1, you can have 2, or you can have 3. Up to you how many you want. And we've got plus steam. Is there a limit on how low I can go to temperature? Yeah. So plus steam, it needs to be on a minimum of 40 degrees to select. And that introduces steam. I'm not entirely sure where, because I've not actually used it. But knowing this, I think it does it at the end of the cycle to release creases and kill bacteria. Right, so soft plus, in combination with the salt and how the salt setting is set up, whether it's with a wash or wash and rinse. But if you've got the salt obviously set pretty much turned off, what it will do is distribute the fabric softener better on the final rinse. So it's recommended that with larger loads that you set at this, and with more soiled loads. Apparently, that's what it says in the manual. Effectively, what you should be doing then is filling up with water first, letting the whole load soak, and then adding fabric softener at a later stage within the rinse. Apparently it adds on time. Apparently it adds on a lot of time. Then we've got anti-crease. So what this does at the end of the wash, it will do up to 30 minutes of tumbling. You can interrupt this process at any time, but it'll tumble the clothes for up to 30 minutes to keep them loose and therefore crease free. Then we've got memory. These are both empty. You can effectively select any cycle, any options you want. So there are all your options that you get with the machine. Quite a lot then, quite a lot to go at as well. You are never going to be stuck for a program to choose from. Right, so here we've got our little super quick plus selected there. Another thing as well, let's say if we select eco, let's say we turn the stains on, let's put pre-wash on for example. Let's put plus steam on, let's put soft plus on, let's put anti-crease on. Anti-crease will turn off the plus steam. That's correct because of course plus steam will do a steam phase. It's pretty much as like an anti-crease anyway, because it's at the end of the cycle, so it makes sense. Can't have both. And they all start appearing here. So look, we've got these icons here. You can now select them, and yeah. So eco, we can then turn that on and off. Once you start pushing them, you can turn them on and off. It's great. Right. So let's go through the other programs then. So we've got Cotton's Eco. This is your Eco standard 40 and 60 program. Obviously max load 9 kilogram. As I said earlier, the max temperature, at least on the 60 program, is 28 degrees. You've only got two temperature choices, 40 or 60, 1600 spin. But strangely, you can add on every option that you want. So you can have stains, you can have extra rinse, you can have plus steam, you can have soft plus, you can have anti-crease, you can have the lot if you want. It does not matter with this. And that's pretty cool because quite often they usually get left out on standard programs like this. Not on this. It's pretty cool, that. Right. Max load is up to 9 kilogram. The time will increase with the more you put in. So like I say, it's about 3 hours 45 and 40. Once you filled it up, it's more 4 and a bit. Same with 60. So starters 4 hours 10 with no load. And it's 5 hours 2 with full load. Then we've got synthetics, max load, 4 kilogram. Made for washing. Up to 4 kilogram of man-made fibres, so stuff like nylon, polyester, polycotton, rayon. We don't use rayon anymore. Stuff like that. Obviously does a 1200 spin. It's quite brief. It's all there to help reduce sort of creases setting in on the fabrics, but at the same time gets as much moisture out of them. Presets at 40, you can have 50 and 60. Strange how 40 is far longer than the other temperatures. Bit of an odd one. Right, and again with this we've got time save, so we've got quick and we've got super quick. That's with all temperatures, so like I said, it changes depending on the temperature you select. Again, spin speed, you can have all spin speed up to 1200 RPM, you get extra silent and rinse hold. You've even got eco, which, yeah, quite a bit of bizarre one. I think eco more on synthetics, it will limit the temperature, I think on 1650 down to around 40. I do think eco does change on what cycle you select though, so it doesn't always act as eco. We've got stains, sorry, we've got the stains list here, so we've got soak, we've got pre-wash, and we've got stains. Again, stains can only be selected with 40 degrees and above. I forgot to mention before that what stains does is once it hits 40 degrees, it will wash at 40 degrees for around 10 minutes or so before then heating onwards and upwards. So it's both an intensive wash But also by washing at 40, it allows enzymes in your detergent to work at the best to get rid of foodstuffs and other stuff, whatever. Again, extra rinses, you can add on up to 3 rinses. You can have plus steam, you can have soft plus, you can have anti-crease. Pretty flexible. Right, then we've got Delicates, max load, 4 kilogram. It presets at 40 times 1 hour 21. Again, that time will increase with the more laundry you put in. So I think Delicates with a full load, like synthetics, I think full load is like around 3 hours. So Delicates full load, I think it's about 20 minutes more. Presets and max temperature of 40. I'm going to leave it at 40, show you. Again, we've got time save, we've got quick, we've got super extra quick. Look how quick it is now. Although I was expecting, strangely, the 30° to be shorter, but not so here. How odd. Spin speed 1200. So a bit like synthetics, but because Delicates runs with more water in the wash, has intermediate spins but they're much slower. Also more water in the rinses as well. And the final spin, despite saying 1200, is a different pattern. So yeah. Again, we've got Eco. Saves on electric by doing it slightly low temperature. Again, stains. No soak, but we can have pre-wash. And we can have stains on the 40. If we put it on less than 40, we can't have it. Again, extra rinse. We can add on up to 3 rinses. We've got anti-crease if we want on. We've even got soft plus. You've got pretty much everything again. It's flexible. Right. Then we've got wool and silk. Max load, 2 kilogram. However, unlike all the other programs, if you put 0 in or whether you put 2 kilogram in, it doesn't matter. It does not affect the time. Max temperature, 40 degrees. Spin speed 1200 RPM, and that's it. There are no other options. That's how it comes. The 1200 on this is again different to the Delicates and synthetics. It says 1200, but it's a different pattern. Then we've got steam. Now this is a little bit different because if you notice, you can't select anything apart from this. It's the only one that has it. And it'll say max here. And you can change it. Minimum, medium, maximum. And basically you change this on more to do with your load size. So the more washing you put in, the more steam you're probably going to want to put on. Again, I mean, that's quite interesting as well. So despite being able to, you can still have anti-crease, which is a little odd. And again, and even more strangely, look, I've opened a door, there's no weight for it. Right, then we've got the 20 minutes, 3 kilogram. This allows you to wash up to 3 kilogram. It does have a weight thing on it, so, but again, you can put 3 kilogram in, it ain't going to change how long the cycle is. Yes, we know. So you can wash up to 3 kilograms of cotton and synthetics that are very lightly soiled that just need refreshing. It does say 20 minutes for 30 degrees, but in reality it takes 17 minutes. You just did that right. You can have 30 or you can have 40. 40 will take half an hour. Again, I think it's around 27 minutes officially. Spin speed, again up to 1200 RPM. Again, it's a different pattern to all the other ones. You can have anti-crease, and that's pretty much your only options available. We've got outdoor. Now it has 2 load sizes. You've got max of 2.5, but if you put 1 kilogram or less in, it will do impregnation stage with it. Yeah. Anyway, temperature max of 40, and you can go down to cold. Obviously it's outdoors, so it's made for washing your winter jackets, and therefore you can re-energize them so they become waterproof again. We can have extra rinses. Just let this spin speed for a second because, yeah, there's no night cycle. We can have anti-crease as well. Then we've got jeans. If you notice, it's about 1 hour 37, so it's a lot longer than normal cottons with nothing in as well. We can have 50, we can have 60. 60's max, cold's minimum. Oh. Max load. Come on, work. It's a little bit delayed sometimes. 9 kilogram. 1200 spin. Strangely, that's a cotton spin, just limited to 1200. The jeans does a different profile to cottons, so effectively it's a bit like having cottons but with extra rinse put in place. So the intermediate spins are slightly different. Obviously the final spin is sort of limited. You can have eco, which will sort of run an eco standard profile in a weird way. I'll test that out one day properly. No stains, but you can, no soak, but you can have pre-wash, and you can have soak. You can have stains. We've got extra rinse, and we can add up to an extra 3 rinses. We can add soft plus, and we can add on anti-crease as well. We've also got time save, so again we can have quick and we can have extra quick or super quick. So jeans cycle a protects your denim from excess creasing and protects the colour as well, so there's not that much dye run, for example. The extra rinsing ensures all the detergent is removed. It does have extra rinsing as standard on the jean cycle. Right, then we've got anti-allergy. So this one's 3 hours 29 with, oh yeah, with a small load. I think it's 4 hours plus with a full load, so you preset at 60 and you can't change it. You've got a max spin of 1600 because it is a cotton cycle. It's made for washing cottons. There is no night cycle, so it's relying on that intermediate spins basically. That's why there's no night cycle. It needs intermediate spins for the rinsing. You can shove up to 9 kilogram in, so You can add on a pre-wash or the stains. And you can even have additional extra rinses as well. It already does an additional extra rinse. You've got plus steam and we've got soft plus. We can also add on anti-crease as well if you wish. No quick or super quick, but that's by design, because anti-allergy is designed to remove sort of all 99.9% of allergens and bacteria. We've got rinse and spin. Come on. Right, so it does one rinse and final spin of 1600, which is the Cotton's one. Set 800 or less. We notice the time drop. If you select 800 or less, it will do the delicates rinse and spin. Still only one rinse, but we can change that. We can add on extra rinses. So if you want to do more than just fabric softener, you can add on up to 3 extra rinses, which will make you 4 rinses. We can even add on anti-crease as well. So yeah, 1000 and above, it's a Cotton's rinse and spin. 800 and below, delicate rinse and spin. I still like that about AEG Electrolux. They're very clever. Right, then we've got drain only, just drains the water out. Then we've got spin only. Got 1600 RPM. Spin. Go to 800 less, it'll do a delicate short spin. Again, I like that about AEG. Then you've got machine clean. Don't put any washing in. It effectively cleans the drum out. So it heats up to, oh, not 95. It's just 60 on this one. And does a load of spin washing and stuff like that to get rid of all the gunk built up. Strangely, you got spin speed, which I find a bit bizarre, because why would you have it at 1200? Normally on drum cleans, they don't even allow you to change the spin speed. It's normally all set. So strange how it allows you to change it. Then we've got settings, we'll go into that in a minute. Then we've got Eco Power, or Eco Power, as it's also known. So, right, so this is where it gets a bit clever, and it's activated quite a lot on this cycle. On other cycles, it's also activated, and we're talking about an additional pump. So we've got a staggering 3 pumps in this machine. We've got our jet system pump, we've got our normal drain pump, but we've also got a third one. Yeah, effectively it's got Eco Bubble or Active Care. Yeah, Samsung's Eco Bubble and Hotpoint's Active Care both use pumps to pump oxygen into the machine, therefore it encourages better cleaning. And say also Indesit have one as well, but they don't actually advertise it. And that's effectively what it does. So on this, it allows you to wash 5 kilogram, but strangely not all lightly soiled. Normally we say you can put 5 kilogram in of lightly to normal soiled sort of daily laundry, and you can wash up to, yep, 60 degrees. And you can. It even has a short final spin at 1600 RPM. You can even add on additional rinses if you wish. You can even have a soft plus if you want. You can turn on anti-crease. But anyway, let me just tell you more about Eco Power. So this allows you to wash 5 kilogram of normal, up to heavy soiled if you want as well, of laundry in just 59 minutes, up to 60 degrees. And it basically does this spin wash pattern, loads more water than normal, use the eco, effectively the eco pump to put more oxygen in and stuff like that. It's brilliant. It's really, really, really good. Then we've got Colour Pro. Now, according to the manual, it says to reduce the load, but you can have up to 9 kilo. So Colour Pro protects your colours. Again, it limits the spin to 1200 RPM. Again, it's pretty much like jeans. It's cottons, I think, with extra rinsing. But it hasn't got the length of the cottons. Time save, we've got quick, we've got extra quick. Max temperature, well, we need to save your colours, so it's 30 degrees. Cardon, no pre-wash, but you can have soak. How odd. How odd you can't have pre-wash, despite pre-wash being effectively the bit without soak. You got extra rinses, got soft plus, and you got anti-crease. Yeah, a bit bizarre Colour Pro. So we've got jeans, we've got Colour Pro, we've got cottons. They're all slightly different to each other. Also, right, if I go back, hang on. So one thing we can do is just kind of reset it like that. There we go. It says now 15. Again, put a full load in. It takes around 3 hours. Right. So that's just all the programs and options. Right, then we've got settings here. And we can change a lot if you let me in. I think this is why they ditched the touch screen. But, right, so we can set up quite a lot. So we've got Wi-Fi, which we can connect via the AEG app, which doesn't work. I tried, didn't work. Clock, obviously hours and minutes. You'll see when you're running that instead of, it will give you both a time of how many hours and minutes left remaining on the wash, but also a time of when it's going to finish. When you first turn this machine on, it will ask you to set the time. It will also ask you to set the language. Now we can have English, but we have a lot of different languages set up here. Being European made means that we basically get all the European languages built into it. You got display brightness. Now it's set to 5, but once you hit start and it goes into cycle, after a minute or so it will kind of dim a little bit. Water hardness, and this is to do with the soft water setup. We're going to set it to 1 because we are effectively very soft water here. Well, soft to soft, very soft, slightly medium, more towards medium, depending on the weather. Right now it's summer, so we're heading toward medium water as it starts to dry out more. I got extra rinse default. You can turn this on. It will automatically, I think, add on 2 rinses as standard. We've also got soft plus default. So it will automatically switch on the salt dispenser for every wash if you want. Oh, then we've got detergent dosing here. Turn them off. Detergent dosing. Right, detergent type. Look at your box on it. So, right, let's say with this here, just a quick one. So, what we're looking for is normal soil, medium, 4 to 6 kilo. You set that number. Right. So now, detergent type 1 for me is now set for this Tesco non-bio. Right, then we've got the water softener. So you've got, obviously you can switch it off. You've got wash and wash and rinse. So what it says in the manual, so if you select, it will just wash, it will add the salt to the wash water. If you select wash and rinse, it will add salt to both the wash water and the rinse water. It's basically saying they recommend that if you're in hard water areas, just like wash and rinse, so the hard water doesn't affect your clothes. I mean, I'm personally just going to switch it off because it'll just keep bugging me that I've got no salt in it. You've got service. Now this is the actual service level. It requires a code, which is deeply annoying for me because I don't know it. Right. And you've got shortcuts, like I said, they're right at the front here. You got your child lock shortcut, which you do actually need. The extra shortcut, I don't really need it. Your buzzer shortcut, I don't really need it. In fact, I could do with turning that off and turning that off. Then machine information. So what this does is, and I've got to be honest, it's a little bit useless because when you click on the programs, so the programs, you click on, let's say, cottons, for white and coloured cottons. That's it. Then when you get to something like, say, I don't know, outdoor, technical outdoor gear, reproofing function requires a waterproofing agent. You know what I mean? It's the information here, there's more information in the manual than there is here. Why is the same information not here? The manual tells you to have the load of 1 kilo or less if you want to use a waterproofing agent. Not here. This is absolutely useless. They got program settings and options. Let's have a quick look, shall we? Let's say stains. Heavily soil stain laundry, add stain remover to the stain removal phase. How? You'll see in a minute what I mean. Then you got machine settings. Set the clock, set the time. Who pays £1,200 and doesn't understand basic English? Honestly, this machine information thing is useless. Right, then the final thing is factory reset. We ain't going to do that. Right. So there we go. It's all set up for me now. Ready to go. Right, I'm going to show you the weight counter. Right, so there's two ways we can do this. We can either load it up. I'm going to show you it twice in a minute. We see now I've changed the certain device. So if I was to put in 0 load in, it will say tell me to put in 25mm Tesco non-bio, which is probably about right. Do you know what? Then that weight thing is a little bit off, because when I say off, I mean it was off when I used it last time, because that is how much I put in. It said 9 kilogram last time I did that. It's now saying 7 kilogram, and there's 6.6 kilogram weighed there. What am I doing there? Probably about right, that. There enough. Turns out so that's saying 110 ml, which is 20 ml more what it states on the box for detergent, so it does adjust accordingly. That's pretty good. Right. 3 hours, 18 minutes. Now, you won't be able to see that as I'm putting in the laundry, but there is a way to see how much time increases with how much laundry goes in. Ready? Let's let more. And I take everything out. We'll start again. Right, it's saying an hour 9, so I think I've just gone down to 1 hour 6. So it's not actually fully reset, so we're going to turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Let's now reset the level. Right. So watch it as I load up. I'll put one, so there we go. We've got 0.5 kilogram. I'll just prove it to you. So I'll do that. Yeah. So we've got 1 kilo. .5. Now an hour 9. So it's added on 5 minutes. Two kilo, 5 minutes, it's still the same. 2.5 kilo, massive jump. Three kilo, 5 minutes added on, so another 2 minutes added on. Same. Another 3 minutes. Same. Right, 5.5, massive jump up. So we're going from 1 hour 41 to 2 hours 52. Still 2 hours 52, 6 kilo in. Seven-minute jump. No change. Twelve-minute jump. No change. Full load, another 7 minutes. Yeah. But, as I've also explained, that weight sensor can be a little bit iffy here and there. So it does mean that you could load up what you think is full load and actually isn't a full load. Don't worry though, that time that it states at the start will change once it's taken on the water, and then it detects its actual load size from that instead. Yeah, very clever. Right. Right, so we've got our detergent dispenser drawer. Now, our recommendation is 40ml of powder. So that's what we'll add. That goes into there. We've got a little max mark here for powder, which is right at the top. It makes sense, I suppose. We've got our fabric softener. Max icon is actually here, around this little opening before it starts coming out. Right, as for salt here, you've got these little arrows. Now, believe it or not, these are kind of universal, because where else you'll see these is on the dishwasher. Yeah. It's not just any salt you have to use. You have to use this dishwasher salt granules. Yeah. This is some Tesco version. You can use the finished one if you want. Don't really matter. No. You can just fill it up all the way if you want. I'm not going to put too much in because I don't really use it, so... Alright, we'll put that in. You probably want to hutch it up that end as well, if you've only got a little bit left. As it drips in from here, somewhere. God, it does. But it is just, it works exactly like a dishwasher one. So, it's got a little valve that goes to it, and depending on how the level you have set, depends on how much water it will drip onto that salt. I just thought I'd show you as well up here on the touch screen up here. We can change the options, or we can change none, apart from add the child lock on. Now I've actually hit the screen, it's gone brighter again. Child lock is there. Press and hold. Supposedly. Alright, now I'll put it on. Wait, what where? What's that one then? Anyway, the little add garment, I think that's the door lock now. So, there was a little little garment icon. I literally just was walking up to that then. That is add garment. Press at any point, it will actually unlock the door and allow you to put stuff in. Once it reaches a certain temperature or certain water level, the key will come on instead, meaning you just can't unlock the door. It will also do that as well once it's also sensed the load kind of thing. So quite a lot of information going on as well here. Obviously you've got recycle that we're running, how long's left, what time it'll finish, and what stage of the wash is actually kind of greyed out there, but it's saying washing there. So, what to give this out of 10 then? Well, the drum size is huge. Yes, it's only 9 kilo, but the actual drum volume is huge. In fact, the fill rating is probably about right for it, which means you can just fill it up naturally up to the top. You're near enough at 9 kilo. You've got sort of plenty of programs to play with. It could do with maybe 1 or 2 more additional programs. Also, you got the colours and the genes, which are very similar, really, realistically. I've also just noticed there's no Easy Iron program, which is a little bit bizarre. Normally, there's an Easy Iron or Easy Iron option that's available, but not on this. So there's Steam, which helps with the creasing, but forgot to also mention as well, you could do the pre-wash, you put your detergent straight in the drum on top of the load. So there is that as well. The touchscreen. Now, this is probably why they haven't used touchscreen since. Annoyingly, it's a little bit... the touchscreen works fine, it reacts fine as well. You can scroll fine, it's exactly like a touchscreen phone, except I just wish they used the jog wheel as a bit of an OK button as well that you could push in to select, rather than just using it to, say, select a program and select spin speed, but only once you've tapped it on the screen. It's not brilliant in that sense. But the touchscreen does make setting up stuff like the soft water, a piece of cake. So I do like the fact that it has a touchscreen. It's just needs a bit more programming, and the dial to have a button behind it to make it absolutely perfect. Build quality and reliability. Obviously, like I said, with all AEG Electroluxes, you have 2 consistent problems with them. Board issues, no different here, and bearings and spider, which can go after 4.5, 5 years. This is obviously 5 years old, so it means it's either about to go, unlikely, or it will last for 15, 20 years, which is more likely, with its very sparse use, of course. So that. The soft water works well, works fine as well. The only downside with the soft water system is that once you've selected in the menu, it doesn't actually add any time on or anything for the activation of the soft water valve. So annoyingly, whatever time you have here is normally a lot longer with the soft water system activated. Then you have soft plus option, which it does dispense softener better, but it also acts as a bit like an extra rinse system and cancels all the intermediate spins. It's really weird how that one works. Also eco. I may have missed it whilst I was going through the programs. Obviously, I saw it on cottons. It does activate the standard eco cotton, but it is also available on delicates and on synthetics as well, and I think on jeans and on Colour Pro. Yeah. Effectively, it does exactly the same. It will reduce the temperature and water consumption whilst increasing the length of the wash to compensate on both of those as well. There's a lot of flexibility too. I love the fact that the weight obviously affects how long the cycle is, in terms of wash, how many rinses, and the final spin length and stuff like that. But also the fact that it works on not just only on the normal cycle, but works on both the quick and the super quick. Previous Electroluxes, the weight systems always worked on the normal and the quick, or should I say daily. which is also known on the other Electroluxes. However, it's never worked on the Super Quick. It's always been, once you select Super Quick, it's kind of pre-programmed in for half a load. Super Quick's always been designed for half a load, so 4.5 kilo or less, let's say, on a 9 kilo. But not on this. With Super Quick, you can put up to full load in. It does mean more time, more longer, and it does adjust it accordingly. And I do love that. I also love the Super Quick programs as well. It's really cool how Super Quick doesn't just affect the wash length, but it affects the rinses and the spins accordingly too. It's like a whole new cycle. When you compare that to an old AEG like the 645, which I had in last week, or you saw a review the week before of that actually has always followed on from it, really. Yeah, Electrolux have at least kept hold of what makes an AEG an AEG, despite obviously having Electrolux parts in. I love the fact that Electrolux still have always kept the jet systems on the AEGs and made it their thing, and have much higher intermediate spin speeds than, say, the Zanussis or the Trixie Bendixes or the John Lewises. Yeah. But is it worth £1,200? Not entirely sure. In fact, I'd probably just say, save yourself £200 and go for the £1,000 9000 series with the LED around the side of the dial. At least it's much easier to set programs and options and start a cycle from there than it is on this. So, is it worth £1,200? It is to me. I'm not quite entirely sure it's worth that to the general public. I do love it, the fact that it is probably one of the very, very few they ever sold over here. Very rare. I personally don't think I'm going to sell this. Probably ever, because I do like it quite a lot. That and it's 645. What to rate this out of 10 then? I'm going to give it a solid 9. It's still got flaws, like I've pointed out, but it is very well built. And I mean very well built for 2019 and 2020 as well. This flexibility, by then, the Beko that's next to it, which is just as old, was very cheap, flimsy plastics and stuff like that. Beko really cut back. Indesit cut back. Op points are cut back. Bosch was starting to cut back a little bit as well. Not with AEG Electrolux. This is still the same kind of build quality you get today, even on a modern 9000 series. Just without the touchscreen. I do like it. I do like it a lot. It's worth every penny. Right, enjoy this review. It doesn't like if you did. Comment down below. Yeah, it's a rather lengthy one. So, something a bit different this week, but there you go. Alright, and I'll see you guys in another video. So, bye for now. Also, don't forget to go watch the solar cycles of this on the other channel. I'll see you guys in another video. So, bye for now.